Hey there, people, how's it going? Now, I remember I promised to give you a summary of a recent program that I just attended. It's a 2 days program by Sandy Jadeja, right? It's all about professional trading and doing it in a safe manner. He's done an absolutely amazing work at simplifying all his years of trading, and if I'm not mistaken, he mentioned 38 years of professional trading that he has simplified within 2 days. Before I go into the summary and all that, I just want to say that the actual techniques that we were learning, we can actually put that into action in less than a day of program. But to understand why these techniques were used took a little bit more time to actually explain. And so Sandy gave us a lot of stories, a lot of experience sharing as well throughout his entire program, which I absolutely appreciate. So in this video, I want to cover a summary, a general summary of what I've observed and learned as well, so that you can pick a thing or two out of this. So the first and foremost, like any other programs, we actually have to go through definitions of what the whole thing is about. So in this case, it's the difference between what trading is and investing, and that I find really useful because most people kind of confuse these two and they want to interlap. Both of this can be complementary. I don't think it's contradicting, so you just need to know which technique to use at which time. And I find that, you know, at times where you want to know how to make money when the market is so volatile, moving up and down at all the times, and you are not so conservative, then you can actually take up trading because it's all about the market movements. It's exciting as hell, I can tell you that when I saw that. But it's also all about our own appetite, so we need to understand that first. So the difference between trading and investing, a little bit more active, a little bit more passive. One is more about the longer term, holding assets. Trading is all about, I want to make money, cash flow in the volatility of the market itself. So I want to keep that as simple. Then we got to understand the next thing, which is the psychology of our action. We got to know why we want to do it and why we are getting into it. And it's very important because a lot of people look at money wise, and when they start chasing money, that's where they start making the mistakes in terms of trading. Yes, you can make a lot of money, but at the same time, you're putting a lot of risk if you don't know how to manage that particular action itself, because people can just go all the way up and then market turns around because we don't know what's going to happen. And you don't know when to exit, and you're thinking that, oh no, it will recover, it will recover. It might, but it might take time, and you might not have the holding power, and because of that, you might just sell it at a very silly price, which means you'll be at loss. And when you're at loss, that's where a lot of people start doing even sillier things. They start topping up on the loss and creating a massive loss. So if you've heard of people who went in really low but end up losing big, that's one of the scenarios. So that was really important, understanding the psychology of it. And Sandy has actually shared his experience, so I really appreciate that because I don't want to go through that mistakes that he has gone through in his initial years. I want to be a smart trader if I'm ever going to be a professional trader. Then the next thing, we moved into the profile of the traders and investors. They are really active traders, like those who do intraday trading, and these guys are doing on a maybe 15 minutes basis, 1 hour basis, or just within the day. So it's quick in, quick out. Like, wow, if I were to imagine that, you'd be on the computer like every 15 minutes looking at the trends going up and down. Man, okay, so those are just one type. There are other types where they are a little bit mid-term to longer-term basis. So they are days to weeks, weeks to months, months to years. It really depends. Again, there is a major difference between trading and investing. When we're talking about years, they're not looking at holding an asset at the end of the day. They are looking to make a quick cash out based on certain contracts that they are dealing with. But just to let you know, these are the different profiles. You have the short-term, mid-term, and long-term basis. So come next is actually making the plans. And this is actually very important. I would think it's a 5-step basis. So let me just cover this 5-step. The first step is to start with a goal in mind. In my case, I want to earn back my tuition fees. So that's definitely my goal. And then after that, I need to decide what I want to actually do in order to hit that. What sort of trades do I want to place? And what sort of strategies, which is the third step, the strategies to place those trades. Now I know different techniques. What techniques really suit me and what do I want to do with that? And then number 4 is actually to mark every trade that I do so that I can actually study them and learn from the mistakes. And of course, we must be prepared that mistakes will always happen in the initial trades because we're still learning. And if you are successful, that's a bonus. If you're not, it's a learning curve. And of course, number 5, the last but not least, is to do the trades. That's something that Sandy emphasizes throughout the entire time, because a lot of times people take this, they go back home, and they forget about it. I've seen this so many times over, and it doesn't matter what sort of program, there will be people who come for the program and then go back home not doing anything at all, and life goes on, and then the results are nowhere to be seen. Alright, so the next one is basically the different techniques that we learn. This is fairly simple. I just want to cover like a few things that I remember, and these are all mostly about the technical analysis. So that's one called seeing the OHLC. That's the open, high, low, and close points of a chart. And then we have the line chart plus the moving averages, and we have the bar charts, how to see when they open and when they close, the different types, and then of course the candlesticks and a combination of them. Now it's a lot to really say, and I don't know how to simplify as well as Sandy does. I really hope that I can get to that level as well, because it'll be so useful to explain to all my friends here. In order for me to understand a little bit deeper and better on it, I gotta really do it, and once I get a hang of it, I will share that again. Anyways, so we move on. What are the other areas that we covered during these 2 days? I think it's the culture of always asking. If you're not sure, to always ask. Don't assume anything, because typically when people assume, and I've seen this myself, when I assume something, it always goes wrong. I don't know, sometimes it goes right, sometimes it goes wrong, but the ratio of right and wrong, it's a 9-to-1, which means 1 right, 9 wrongs. So same thing like this, because it deals with real money, we don't want to be assuming, and if we are unsure about it, if we are not asking, then we should just stand aside. And the main thing that Sandy has stressed out throughout this 2 program is basically to follow a process. If we have set up a process that we want to do for a trade, then we should see it through. Don't chicken out and quit it. Don't change anything last minute. Don't do anything out of the ordinary just because we want to test different things. Plan it out, execute it, and follow it through. So that's a very simple step-by-step process that he has actually taught us. So I'm waiting to see that for myself. I know sometimes I get a little bit jittery. It happens. It's a learning curve for myself. So this entire 2-day program not only covers different techniques, different strategies, and the profiles of a trader, he really taught us in terms of the psychology behind trading itself. And I find that to be even more important than the techniques. I could learn techniques any day. And yes, I appreciate how simple it is, but I need to know how to prepare myself and what are the emotional barriers that would actually be involved in it, because we're dealing with real money. So for an example, if you were to put in a trade right now, and then tomorrow you look at it, there's $100 in profit. Now the next day you go in, there'll be a $200 in profit because it has gone up. Now at that point, do you exit with that $200? Or do you wait for the market to respond going up or going down? Now, I don't know whether it's going to go up or down. No one knows for sure. So at that point, it's where the emotional part starts playing a trick on you, right? You want to exit right now because it's a guaranteed $200 into your pocket. But however, if you exit it right now, it would have shot up to $500 and you would have lost the remaining profits. But if you continued, it could also go the other way around, and you might just lose not just that $200 that you might have just profited, but you would also lose your capital in the process if it goes extremely down, right? So that's something that you really need to be prepared of, and that's something that we went through to experience different change by seeing different examples as well. That's really, really powerful. The psychology behind the trades is super important as compared to the techniques that you will use, because you can learn about all the techniques. It will not help you if you do not know how to control your emotions while you are trading. And we are told that trading, we should treat it as a business rather than an emotional betting. And there will be times where you will hit it and make loss. Like a business, you'll definitely face some losses, but you can also recover when profits come. So we have to really look at it from a business point of view. So that's really, really strong. So just to recap, this 2 days program, in short, is really a blockbuster of psychology, profiling, techniques, strategies, and an action plan for all of us. Really, really good. I think it's really worth every moment of it. And that's it. That's all I have for you today. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.